Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International, and many Egyptians are in anticipation of the the 8th edition of the National Youth Conference that is going to take place in the Convention Center, Manara Convention Center in the 5th Settlement. And to shed more light on this very important topic, we're most delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Mustafa Ibrahim, Vice President of Global Youth Ambassadors. First of all, Doctor, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doctor, first of all, if you can tell us about, from your point of view, how do you see these such events as significant for the Egyptian youth?
President Abdel has been making a very huge and complicated agenda in supporting youth in different aspects and giving them the opportunities to prove themselves and to gain more skills and make impact in their communities. And part of this agenda started with the first World Youth Forum that he organized back in 2016, I guess. And one of its recommendations was getting the youth to engage more with the higher levels and with the stakeholders, with the decision makers, and with the president himself. So what's important about this conference is that they allow a platform for the youth to meet each other, to communicate and to connect with the decision maker in order to discuss their problems, discuss problems of the communities, discuss their innovative or creative ideas to make change. And by each conference, new programs and new initiatives are created and implemented, and we have seen this happening in the past 3 or 4 conferences.
Good morning, Dr. Ibrahim, and let's talk about the timing of the conference, which is very good, and the topics that are expected to be tackled by the sessions of the conference. Of course, confronting terrorism, confronting also other dangers which are equal to the threats of terrorism, like the dangers of social media, faking lies, faking rumors, fighting national stability, fighting the patriotic spirit amongst Egyptians. How do you see the importance of topics like that? And how do you expect that to be tackled during the session, the one-day conference?
Well, one of the most pressing issues worldwide right now is something called cybersecurity, and fighting what you can call cyberbullying or cyber campaigns or fake news or stuff like that. And this is the most pressing issues in most regions of the world. And I guess the conference aims to shed more light at this problem, give the youth more tools to have more responsible and more accurate use of social media and the internet in order to get more internet and social media is a double-edged blade. You can use it to make a lot of good and you can use it to make a lot of bad impact on communities. And that, I guess it will be a very important topic to discuss with you, how we can transform social media from a platform that promotes hate or violence or terror into a platform that really makes change in people's lives. Yeah.
Right.
Also, Doctor, if you can tell us, one of the, according to the schedule of today's conference, one of the sessions is entitled Ask the President, in which Egyptian youth from all walks of life would have the chance to submit questions for President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to answer. How do you see the significance of this session?
Okay, this is one of the special sessions that rarely we see in other countries, where you get to have one Q&A session with the president himself. You rarely see sessions like that happening even in the USA. So we've seen this Q&A. It's not the first time it happened. It happened in the previous World Youth Forum. And we've seen the impact, and we've seen how it gets the youth engaged, and how it gets their voice delivered to even the highest position in the country, the president himself. And how it provides, it sends the message that every youth has a free space to express his needs and express his aspirations and his ideas to any decision maker, even the president himself. This is the message, the main message that this Q&A sends.
Right. Dr. Mustafa, also over 7 past different sessions or conferences between the state and the head of state and Egyptians, especially youth, have created, under the title, of course, the National Youth Conference, have created new mechanisms of dialogue and communication between the Egyptian state, of course, represented by the president, and the youth, the future leaders. How have that enforced and empowered those future leaders to inspire them and empower their ambitions, inspire them with new ideas, and give them the experiences of those who were former leaders? How do you assess this experience, this very successful experience, the National Youth Conference?
Yes, in order to see the results of the conference, you have to see the bigger picture. You have to see what happens before the conference and what happens after the conference. The conference is only the start of something or the end of something. So after the first World Youth Forum, an alumni of the youth who attended this event made a sort of a network and started working with ministries and with the presidential office in order to prepare for the next World Youth Forum. And over the 7 years, or the 7 conferences of youth, we've seen new networks being established, new youth networks being established, new youth teams being established, working with different aspects of development and youth engagement, like SDGs, working with on human rights, working with poverty, working in environment. We've also seen the presidential program, which is a very, very, very high-stakes program and very beneficial and has a very great feedback and reviews from all over the world. We've also seen Egypt getting engaged more in Africa, engaging African youth, making the African leadership program, and creating a lot of African networks of youth that works across all the African nations. So we always see it progressing and expanding. More programs are being implemented after each conference, and more initiatives are being implemented after each conference. We see ministries like the Ministry of Youth and the Ministry of Social Solidarity creating competitions for community initiatives for youth in order to get them engaged more in making impact in their communities. So when you look at the conference, you have to see the bigger picture, what happened between this conference and that conference. And I guess these achievements get highlighted in the beginning of each new conference.
Doctor, as we're wrapping up, if you can give us your final comments and your expectations for this 8th edition of the National Youth Conference, which is going to gather around 1,600 Egyptian youth, including entrepreneurs, those engineers who worked on national mega projects, also youth that participated in the president's election campaign. These are the groups of youth that are going to hopefully be present during this event. If you can give us your final comments, please.
Okay, my final comments would be that I hope the conference becomes a success like its previous successors, that it creates the usual platform of communicating and networking between the youth themselves and decision makers, and of course the presidential Q&A session. I hope it creates new networks that focuses more on social media impact focuses more on cybersecurity, focuses more on raising awareness of such issues to the people. I hope to see new projects implemented in training for youth on such issues of responsible use of social media or how to use social media for good, things like that.
Yes, Dr. Mustafa Ibrahim, and Ambassador, Vice President rather, of Global Youth Ambassadors. Really appreciate your input, and thank you so much for joining us on the Breakfast Show. And dear viewers, now we move on to a short break, and then we'll be back to resume the Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International.